everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you're new here, and today I'm bringing you my December wrap up. I read a lot of good books in December. It was a month full of mood reading and I actually got through about 13 books. I had 2 DNFs, no 1 or 2 star books, 4 3 stars, 5 4 stars, and 2 5-star rock stars. Let's just get right into the book and we'll start with the 2 books that I DNF'd. No tea on my DNFs really. It's just 2 books that I wasn't really connecting with. One is Stroke the Flame by Elizabeth Briggs. I picked this up because she's going to be a romantasy author, so I was wondering if I would like it. And this is Why Choose. It's a Why Choose Dragon Shifter book, so I thought I would like it. However, just wasn't connecting with the characters. I think I DNF'd it about 58% of the way through. So that's all. It was just kind of not hitting, you know what I mean? So I thought, let's move on. And the other one that I DNF'd was The Night Market by Jessica Sundin. Again, another author that will be at romantasy, and I really wanted to try this one because this one, she is a fortune teller at a night market, and every night a man comes in and he asks her these questions about, does my mate want me? Does my mate find me attractive? And she tells him what he wants to hear. And then that's it. Really, what was dragging me about this one is that this is a character-driven story and I'm a plot person. So this was just kind of boring me. I DNF'd it at 40% of the way through. It was cute. You might like it if you're more of a cozy reader. There really wasn't anything happening going on other than, you know, challenges of being mates. So whatever, it was okay. So my first 3-star read was actually The Starlight Air. This is by Amelie Howard, which I absolutely love Amelie Howard as an author. I pretty much have given every single one of her books 4 or 5 stars in her historical romance books. But this one honestly did let me down a little bit. It's not bad by any means, and I think if you're like a beginner romantasy reader, you probably will really like this. The book just felt a lot younger to me. It felt more YA than adult, even though there is spicy scenes in here, that kind of thing, but I just wanted more from this, I think. And as someone who reads just a ton of romantasy and a ton of adult romantasy, this wasn't quite hitting for me. What I really liked about this though is the fact that this kind of follows more Indian mythology, so it's a little bit different than the usual romantasies, but again, there was just nothing that like really blew me away about it. However, I do think, again, if you're not a huge romantasy reader, you might really like it and you might really enjoy the writing. I just wasn't vibing too well with some of the writing in here because it felt very juvenile, that's all. But still a really good book, and I definitely think you should try it still because it comes out on January 7th, honestly. Another one I read that ended up being 3 stars, Lords of the Hunt. This is by Kate King. It says Wild Fae, but I think Wild Fae is the series name on this. This is kind of Why Choose, I think. It kind of follows a girl. She accidentally kills a king and his sons don't like it, so they imprison her for like a year, and then in order for them to take back the crown, she's got to die in some kind of competition. Look, it was a little weird for me, like, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the competition that never came. So I don't know if the competition's in the next book or what. The characters are good. Like, I really liked the relationship between the brothers who were kind of helping her but also wanting her to die. It was a weird one. It's definitely an interesting one. Overall, I give it a 3. I think I would continue on with the series because I just want to see what plays out in the next book. But yeah, it was okay. It was good. It was all right. Another 3-star, Castle and Nevers and Nightmares. This book actually kind of frustrated me a lot. I loved it. I loved the book. However, one thing that kept making me pissed off about this book is that it's a spin-off series. This is how my brain works, okay? When you're saying a book is a book 1, whether it's a spinoff or not, as a new reader, you should still be explaining the world enough to me that I'll understand it. Lana's world here is very vast. It's very detailed, very vast, and it is honestly hard to understand. Like, you definitely need it explained to you a little bit, and she has done a great job with that in her other series. However, that series is 10 books long. I don't want to read them. I just don't want to read a long-standing series with a lot of books and a lot of big books. I don't want to do that. This one seemed interesting to me because it's Why Choose. There are trials again in this, and literally all of those things were cool. Everything was cool. It's just I kept not understanding the world of it. And I feel like I've read enough of these romantasies now that I can pick up the world pretty easily, and I'm pretty easygoing about it, but it would just literally piss me off because I didn't know what the hell was happening. It would refer to things that happened in other books as if you were supposed to know what those things are. Nope, don't. It just pissed me off. This is like the next generation from her first series. But I thought you could go into it without having read that series. I think you can, but you're just gonna be really confused because it's like partway between fantasy and post-apocalyptic. There's a lot of details here, a lot of details here. So maybe this book was just, again, wasn't for me, but I still really enjoyed it. I really wanted to not be frustrated half of the book. And then my last 3-star book is called The Secrets of Jane. This is by Charlotte Mallory. I'm really trying to like get all these romantasy con authors in here to at least try their books before I decide whether I want to pre-order them. This one, again, good, kind of a road trip romance. Thought it would be pirates. It's not. That was his downfall. I thought it would be pirates. It's not. It's mercenaries. This is a captor-captive romance. You have a girl that is... Oh, really? She doesn't know why he's taking her back to a place she doesn't want to go, so she's trying to bribe her way out of this any way she can. She even escapes at some point. It was an adventure, okay? It was an adventure. The spice was spicing. The plot was plotting, but it was, again, just kind of like, this is good. This is good. Was it great? I don't know. There is, I think, going to be another book. Or there is another book. No, she hasn't written the next book yet. I probably will read it, honestly. I didn't hate this at all. I thought it was good. My 4-star reads, which there are 5 of them, starts with 50 Shades of Gorgasaur. As soon as I saw this on NetGalley, I went immediately to download and request. It was like one of those instant request ones. And honestly, it was good. It was a good time. This is an office romance. Obviously, it follows 50 Shades a lot. You have a girl who's becoming an assistant to a billionaire dinosaur. But the catch here is that it's a throuple situation. It is a throuple situation, and honestly, the female parts were so good, and then the dinosaur-y parts were honestly not super cringe. Okay, they were very cringe, okay? But you know me, I kind of love cringe. I kind of live for cringe. And honestly, it was really good. But the female parts on here were really hot, and I really enjoyed those a lot. But this was just like a little tiny, like, 50 page or something like that. It was just a fun palette cleanser type book, and I've read a lot of Lola Faust books at this point. I don't think this is the best one I ever read, but honestly, probably 3rd best, 2nd best, one of those. Like this one, not bad. Not bad at all. And then I read Threaded by Tay Rose. This is a book that has a really pretty special edition, and I went ahead and ordered it. I actually really liked this book. It's a duology. What's going on in this book is that there's a girl, and as soon as she turns 21, she's like, I'm out of here. She just wants to leave the kingdom. She wants to go adventure and travel and all that kind of things. She's always been kind of an outcast in the town, so she doesn't really care about anyone. She just wants to leave. But she can't leave until she turns 21. She doesn't have any magic, and all of a sudden on her 21st birthday, she gets a summons from the queen saying, come to the castle. There's going to be some kind of ritual that happens to see if this goddess is in one of you. What do you know it is? And her life just is turned upside down because she's basically going to be the next queen. And being the next queen, it means you have seven guards, men at your disposal. And you can develop a relationship with each and every single one of them. All the relationships are different. This is not White Shoes though. This is not White Shoes. There is exactly one man that she is tied to the most or drawn to the most. And it's a fight. It's a battle the whole time. They do not want to be together. And I kind of love that. I love when they kind of reject this whole fated mates notion. They're like, I do not want to be with you. However, they're so drawn to each other, they can't help it. They can't help it but touch each other. You know what I mean? I really loved that. The only problem with this one that I have is that it is incredibly slow burn, and I am not a slow burn person. In fact, you do not even meet the main hero until 143 pages into this book. Okay? You don't meet him. You don't even get descriptions of him. So that was the thing. Like, it just took forever to like get to that love interest points. And then once I got there, I was really hooked. I really liked the whole story. I liked all the relationships of the guys. They're all really great. I really do want to finish this duology at some point. So again, I'm buying the special edition. It's really pretty. And yeah, can't wait to move on with it. And then I read Bonded by Thorns. This was a buddy read with Hannah. We both enjoyed this. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Again, you have a girl that kind of starts out in a very modern type of small town. She's again an outcast. Her dad is labeled crazy. So everyone kind of abuses her a little bit, especially the Gaston character, which is like an ex-boyfriend of hers. He's very weird. He's super duper weird. And I do not like the way he talks to her. She kind of like, her dad stumbles into the fairy realm or the fae realm, into this castle, and then gets kidnapped. You know, it's the whole Beauty and the Beast thing. But once she gets to that area or that castle and becomes the captive instead of her dad, that's when things change, because this is White Shoes. And honestly, I love every single one of the men here. Like, I love them all. I don't think I have a favorite at this point. I've only read the first book. However, we are reading the second book this month, Woven by Gold, something like that. And I want to read this whole series. I think it's just a fun kind of like popcorny read. And I love those. Like, those are my favorite. If that is not my brand, fun popcorn read, I don't know what else is. So yes, I'm very excited about this. This was a 4-star read for me. I don't think I'm super obsessed with it, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun ride. Then I read the only holiday book that I read this year. I just wasn't into Christmas reads that much. I read Slanging the Holidays by Beatrix Hollow. This is a dark rom-com book. I wouldn't say it's super dark. Like, it's Butcher and Blackbird type of dark. You know what I mean? Dark-ish. It's more, it's like a very lighthearted, murdery type of dark. In this one, you have a girl who is a therapist, and you walk right in with one of her clients dead on her floor, and she's just kind of like, what is going on? Her next client comes in, is like, oh, do you still want to take me? He's just kind of a single dad who is feeling a little bit depressed, and she tells him, you need to get a hobby. And he's like, okay, I could do that. Little does she know that his hobby is murdering bad people. He's a serial killer. And he accidentally sort of murders her date one night. And then he's like, well, you got to get in the car now. Okay, we're going to be together now because you've been a witness to a crime and I need to protect you. And now we have to get married, and you're going to love me forever. So this book is very Stockholm Syndrome-y. I honestly really enjoyed it. I think I get Beatrix's humor a lot. I liked her other series too, even though it was a little long. This one was a lot shorter, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. I can't buy into the whole Stockholm Syndrome-y stuff, but you know what? From an outsider perspective, I did think the ride was really cool. Like, they were hiding a dead body in a tree farm at some point. Whatever. Listen, it was ridiculous. It was a little unhinged, and I liked it. My last 4-star is Found by Imogen Keeper. I'm continuing on in this post-apocalyptic story. I just love these books. These books are about what happens after the whole planet dies from a super flu type of thing, and you follow these two characters who lead totally different lives. The first book, you're kind of seeing them at the end of this pandemic and how they get to where they are. And then really the relationship picks up in the second book. This is the third book. This series to me has a lot of action. I really like the angst of it. This book was super angsty. Not a ton happens because something very big happens in book 2 and you're seeing the recovery of that in this third book. But I super enjoy it. I want to read more post-apocalyptic type stories this year. Like I have the zombie series and I definitely want to finish this one as well. I think there's like 6 books in this right now and I will read every single one of them. They're short, so they're like between 100 and 200 pages. And they're kind of serialized and I am just living for it. Like it's just a little palate cleanser in between my romantasies, you know what I mean? And then my 2 5-star books, one of these was on my top 10 best of the year, Lights Out by Navessa Allen. This is a contemporary dark romance, dark-ish romance. I will say dark-ish. This isn't really that dark. Like if you were a dark romance reader, you're gonna be like, this is not dark at all. To me, it's dark. It's dark because it deals with murder. However, there's just this lighthearted playfulness that is the romantic comedy side of things that is just beautiful. The audiobook of this is beautiful. What is this about? If you haven't heard yet, Lights Out is like a stalker romance book. The guy is one of those thirst trap video guys on the internet, and the girl is like his biggest fan and she's a trauma nurse. And so things happen, but he finds out about her and then he lightly stalks her. He kind of makes her his whole personality. In a very cute way he stalks her, okay? She likes it, okay? She likes it. But these two are just perfect for each other. This is the type of banter where each of them just bounce off each other, bam, 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 with no hesitation. And I absolutely love it. I think that's what makes like a relationship almost perfect in my mind when you're talking about characters that love each other. Like they were just perfect together and I absolutely enjoyed the audiobook of this. Perfect. Definitely read it via audiobook. And then my last 5-star, which did not make my top 10, but I still a pretty amazing read, was Metal Slinger. Listen, the beginning of this, kind of clunky, super clunky. In fact, you couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. Like they kept saying they were students, but then also they talked about military. So I'm like, are you students or are you recruits? Like, I don't know. And then they talked about, oh, we don't live on land. Like we've never touched land. However, they also talked about sand and dust on their island. Like, is it a floating island? Do you just not have soil? I couldn't figure it out. So at the beginning, a little clunky for me. These students go to this market and it's like a once in a year thing that they do. They've never gone before. Things happen in the market. She's marked as something or other. It's kind of like an Anastasia retelling and a Fated Mates type of thing. I really enjoyed it. However, it did take me a while to get into. I would say 30% in, I was probably like, oh, this is gonna be a 3-star read. And then by 70% in, I was like, you know what, this is a 4-star read. And then the ending hit. The ending hit. And this is the best cliffhanger I have ever read. I love a good cliffhanger. And it's so freaking good. This one comes at you out of left field. Like I honestly was surprised. I don't know why I was surprised. I should have saw it coming, but I did not see it coming. And I loved it. I loved it. It was great. It was great. So automatically 5-star. That's what bumped it up to a 5-star for me. Throughout most of the book, probably more like a 4-star. Like it was really good. And by that like 50-60% mark, I was hooked. I was in. I was living through this plot. But then the end, and I was like, that's the best ending I ever saw. I cannot wait for the next book. I cannot wait for the next book. So yes, 5-star read. Anyways, those are all the books I read for December. Let me know if you had a favorite of December and what that was in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye. She doesn't know why. Pluto, come on now. Let me know what your favorite book of what is my cat doing? What is my cat doing? Pluto.